NFL Nation, how you doing? Come on in. I'm Dolph Jackson to Come On In Sports Network. Want to welcome everybody to as the NFL turns. Let me get my head. There we go. That's better. Welcome everybody in. Hope you're having a great start to your Sunday. Well, family, let's get to it. Week 7 is here. I don't know how your team's performing, but as for mine, it wasn't a good Thursday. If you had to sit and watch that debauchery of a Thursday night football game, which was the worst Thursday night football game of the season. But anyway, it's Sunday. Let's talk about today's matchups, family. And speaking of today's matchup, there's one going on right now across the pond in London. Right now, as we speak, this game is currently in the third quarter, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are leading the New England Patriots 25-10. Drake May making his first start today has gone 13 of 18 for 109 yards and 1 touchdown. Trevor Lawrence is 11 of 15 for 167 yards and 1 touchdown. Tank Bigsby leading the way on the ground for the Jaguars with 11 carries for 54 yards and 1 touchdown. And rookie wide receiver Brian Thompson Jr. from LSU has two receptions for 64 yards and 1 touchdown. Again, this is As the NFL Turns. I'm one of your hosts, Dolph Jackson. I'm joined by another host of the show, my brother. Hey, he's pulling double duty, man. He's doing daddy duty. He's handling his business here on the Come On In Sports Network. He's the host of Beware the Stampede. Subscribe to the Beware the Stampede YouTube channel. And he's the host of Come On In Bills. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, my brother, Jeremy. Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Dolph. Appreciate it, my man. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It's Sunday, ready for some good football, man. Sit back, relax, and I'm gonna put my feet up this Sunday and just watch some good football, man. And like I said, the contest that's going on now, 25-10, Jaguars, 9:42 to go in the third quarter in that contest. Jaguars right now looking like they're on their way to getting a W. A much needed W as both teams come in 1-5. So with that out the way, before this game today, Jeremy, what thoughts did you have about this contest? And we'll move on.
I mean, two middling teams at this point, but if you had to pick one and you got to look at it for Jacksonville, I mean, this is basically a home game, right? We played there last weekend. They get to stay in London. They get to go and play again. They've always been one of those teams that plays in London every single year. So for them, this is basically a home game coming in. And with the lack of travel, having the Bills play there and see how that works out, I think that's a huge advantage for that team. And honestly, just looking at paper, it's the overall better team. I mean, Tank Bigsby's really stepped into that role. He's really shown what he was capable of. Drake May just really kind of feeling out the offense and getting used to what it's like playing in the NFL. And quite frankly, a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson to turn this team around real quick before both of them may be potentially out of jobs. So you knew that the Jaguars had to come in playing hard in this game and showing that they're capable of still being a winning team.
Right. Again, like I agree with everything you said. With the Patriots, we know first-year head coach, rookie quarterback making his first start on the road against a team that also is struggling this year, but against a team that, quite frankly, has underachieved a whole lot this season, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they are a disappointment. I mean, to be 1-5 right now. They paid Trevor Lawrence. He got paid in the off season. They added explosive wide receiver threat with Brian Thomas Jr., but everything's just not coming together. And like you said, it may be time for a new verse for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, that game is on NFL Network. It is 25-10 currently in the third quarter. Jacksonville leading New England. Now, before we go on to the next contest, Jeremy, let me get your because Chantel brought it up. So let me get your thoughts on it, man. Your Bills, y'all go out and you acquire Amari Cooper. What is your thoughts on this move by the Bills?
I'm pumped. I mean, he's a rent to own player right now, right? We get him for
Right,
the rest of the season. We're picking up about 800. I'm rounding 850 grand to get Amari Cooper on our team when we're struggling to have a solid number one wide receiver after we all know losing Diggs, right? Losing Davis. Shakir's been good, but he's had some injury. I don't know if he's a true number one as much as I love the guy. Kincaid's kind of had an off year so far. Haven't really seen the numbers we would expect him to see out of him, coming into his second year. Um, and Cooper, I mean, a guy that wanted out of Cleveland, right? He was obviously incredibly disgruntled being there. He wanted out of Cleveland. It gave him a solid option. It gave us the option to get a number one wide receiver and kind of reunite him with this old wide receivers coach from Dallas. So, and when you look at his numbers, what he was putting up in Dallas, I mean, they were video game numbers. So, for me, I mean, I love this move. This was an absolute another genius move by Brandon Beane to bring in a guy we need. And the thing that I love too is we went and got a number one wide receiver for cheap that
right,
we're still in a very competitive opportunity for this team. We're 4-2, leading the AFC East. And when you go and you look at the Jets going and picking up Adams and what that cost them, knowing that elevated the team. And I think right now, if you look at the conference as a whole, that or the division as a whole, that's the only other team I see as a threat right now is the Jets, which we just
right,
beat. But Adams takes him to another level when you reunite him with Rodgers. So we had to go and kind of try to one up it or balance it. And
right.
bringing in Cooper, I mean, woo, you put that guy with Josh Allen and the arm he has, if you're Cooper, you've got to be pumped right now. And
Right,
honestly, the thing is, if he has a great season, who's to say what comes at the end of it? Maybe he's willing to take a good price to stay in Buffalo if he's happy and he likes the matchup,
right.
or we end up signing him longer term and finding another wide receiver one that we need. So for me, this was great. I didn't see this necessarily coming, but I'm thrilled it happened. So I'm excited to see. I believe he's going to play today, but
Okay.
I don't know how much he's gonna play, and how much he's gonna be involved necessarily. But I'm excited for what's gonna happen with this team. It's awesome.
Yeah, and what you get in Amari Cooper is a 7-time 1,000-yard receiver and a 5-time Pro Bowler. I know one person who's excited, along with yourself, and that's your young rookie receiver, Coleman. He said this week in the media that Amari Cooper is a great receiver who has produced in the league for a long time, and now I get to watch him and learn from him each and every single day. So the young receiver is happy to have the veteran Amari Cooper coming in, and we'll touch on the Bills more when we get to today's this week's matchup. All right, family. Next matchup of the day. Let's get to it right now. Thank you, Chantel. Chantel says she love Amari Cooper. She's that Browns fan. Thank you for being here, Chantel. All right, Seattle at Atlanta today. Here's a game with two teams going in opposite directions. Um, Seahawks started the year off 3-0, looking real good, but man, they have been struggling as of late. What is your thoughts on this contest here, Jeremy?
I mean, I like this game. I actually like this game a lot. I think more than people probably do. I think Geno Smith, if you look at his numbers the past few games, his completions, I think he's averaging 31 completions right now over the past couple games.
Uh-huh.
Kenneth Walker still, he's back. He's healthy
I
again.
like him.
I like him a lot. I like Zach behind him too. I like Charbonnet. I think he's also a decent backup. He just hasn't gotten, I think, fully integrated in the NFL yet. But Kenneth Walker the third is just that guy's dynamite. What's interesting to me about this game, honestly, or I'm still trying to wrap my head around, is the Falcons more than anything.
Right.
Is the Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier combo. I know that they are big on Robinson. I know they had to draft him, and I understand why they drafted him. But Tyler Algier, when you look at the numbers the past couple of games,
Right.
he's head and shoulders above what Bijan's doing from the rushing standpoint. And at what point, I'm wondering, are they going to start giving him more carries than Bijan? I mean, I know they want to rely heavily on him, and I get it, but the numbers don't lie. And Tyler Algier, everyone I think seems to forget, his rookie season was a 1,000-yard rusher. So they have a solid backfield that they're starting to leverage more. Um, but you look at the Seahawks, man. You got DK Metcalf. You got Tyler Lockett. Like, you still got a solid receiving core in that team. And Geno Smith is yet again somehow revived and playing incredibly well for Seattle, even though they seem to be struggling.
Right.
That defense just can't contain anybody. I don't think it's going to get any easier today with the Falcons offense and the way that they are set up. Drake London's looking good again. Kirk Cousins, the ageless wonder. So I don't see this going Seattle's way, but I think this could be a competitive game more than people think.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins has thrown for less than 245 yards in 5 of the last 6 games for the Falcons. The Seahawks defense has allowed less than 260 passing yards in 5 of their 6 contests this season. So something's going to give there. Speaking of Geno Smith, again, I don't think Geno's been the problem with Seattle. Of course, I'm not as locked in as others are, but from afar looking in, and for those I spoke with, right now this team is just inconsistent. They're not getting consistent play. Like you say, Kenny Walker the third being hurt did have something to do with it. He should be. I know he's scheduled to play today. I really like this kid. I think he is one of the better young backs in the National Football League. As for Geno Smith, Smith has been at his best this season when he has had a clean pocket. In fact, he has a 61.7% completion rate when pressured, which is first in the National Football League. Excuse me, when not pressured, but he has only 30.2% when under pressure, which is 21st. So the key today is going to be, can Atlanta, without blitzing, can they get pressure on Geno Smith and force him into some turnovers? With the Tyler Algier and B. John Robinson, I think should be more of a running back by committee. Thunder and Lightning. I think B. John Robinson, of course, he's exceptional. He's an exceptional talent. But like you say, Tyler Algier on the year is averaging 5.5 yards a carry. He has 51 carries for 283 yards. His longest run of the year is 20. B. Jones is 28. Drake London leading the way in the air for the Falcons with 38 receptions on 54 targets for 428 yards and 4 touchdowns. Kyle Pitts, 28 targets, 18 receptions for 263 yards and 1 touchdown. Not really. I thought with Kirk Cousins coming in, and we're still kind of early in the season, but I thought with Kirk Cousins coming in that we will see an uptick in the production from Kyle Pitts, and that this will be the year where he really, because he finally had a competent quarterback, that this will be the season where he finally really ate.
I agree with you on that.
Put his name up there in the upper echelon of tight ends in the league. But right now, it's not working. I mean, he's been targeted 28 times and has came down with the ball only 18 times. Now he's averaging just under 15 yards a catch. In fact, he's at 14.6, and his longest reception has been 52. But it's like
it's average at best. I mean, I'm with you on that.
Yes, it's average at best.
But I think the thing you got to look at, Dolph, and this is where I think it gets a little tricky this year, is honestly, if you look at the tight ends across the league, there's nobody that's like head and shoulders killing it, honestly. Like Kittle's good, Kelsey's, good, but there's nobody that's like blowing it out of the water this year. So I think honestly, when you look at tight ends in general, I think all of them across the board are okay this year. No one's really stood out to me, but I am surprised. I expected this to be a breakout year for Pitts, but maybe that's going to come as the season goes on. But I definitely expected his numbers to be higher than they are right now.
Right. Yeah, I did also. So in this contest, I'm going with Atlanta. I think right now Atlanta's riding with some momentum. Right now, Seattle, quite frankly, can't get out their own way. And is it doable for them to go in Atlanta and win? Yes, but I just don't think they'll do it today. I think that the Falcons will hold serve and prevail today. So I'm going with the Falcons in this one. Chantel said yes. Jesse Bates is there with the Falcons. Sister Miss Barbara says, "Why don't people hit the like button? It costs you nothing." Yeah, hit the like button. It don't cost you nothing. Just bam. There you go. Quick and easy. Quick and easy. All right. Chantel's gone with the dirty birds in this one. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're going with that. Now the next game up. Whoa. The Buffalo Bills coming home after a 3-game road trip hosting the Tennessee Titans, who have made a quarterback change. They are going to Mason Rudolph. They have bench Will Levis. Jeremy, you guys listen. This is a game that you guys absolutely should win. Mason Rudolph coming in or not. Right now, like we thought, like we were saying the offseason, what would be the identity of the Tennessee Titans? And to me, this team still doesn't have identity.
Nope. None.
And now you're turning to Mason Rudolph. With all due respect, I mean, Mason Rudolph, he as a backup quarterback, he is all right. But now if you're going to ride with Mason Rudolph the entire season, that only tells you where this season is headed. And could the Titans be right back in the market for a quarterback in the 2025 NFL draft?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not sure they're entirely going to give up on Levis. I mean, to his credit, I mean, he's doing what he can with what I would say very subpar offense. I mean, yeah, you got DeAndre Hopkins, you went and brought Tony Pollard, but you lost Derrick Henry. I think bringing in Pollard didn't fix anything. I don't know what they were thinking on that move, unless they just were looking for a change from Henry, because Henry is just eaten over in Baltimore. Not that we would expect anything different out of him. But Will Levis, his shoulder's still possibly hurt. I think they're kind of using that as a scapegoat at the moment.
Right.
And I think they're looking to see what's under the hood with Rudolph. If he can come in and spark this offense some, it's not going to happen today against the Bills. It's just not. If we lose this game, I'm going to cry. I'm not going to lie. You won't hear from me for a couple days, though. I'm just not impressed with Tennessee. I don't think they're in the market for a quarterback necessarily. I don't think they're ready to entirely give up on Levis, but I think it's one of those they've got to see if there's a way to save this season on any level. Because right now he's not getting it done. The shoulder's an easy way to get away with it and see what happens. But it's not going to be today, not with Mason Rudolph. He was average at best when he was in Pittsburgh. He's not any better on this team. So,
I mean, listen, the kid does have a new coach and a new offense. He's just in his second season. I mean, last week he threw for only 95 yards. And like you said, they do have Hopkins, Tony Pollard, but what else do they have? Young running back Tyjae Spears, I believe he is out also. He's injured, but that Titans offense, they don't scare you. No one on that Titans offense scares you. And that's the problem. They don't have that difference maker on offense right now. And when you have a young quarterback and you believe in them like the Titans say they do, you want to build around this kid. And right now, I don't think they have the necessary pieces around him for this young man to fully reach his potential as of yet. Now, coming into today's game, the Titans do bring the number one overall defense. I'm going to say that again. The Tennessee Titans are the number one overall defense in NFL. They're ninth against the rush, first against the pass, and they're 13 in scoring defense. Now the Bills would counter that by bringing in, which I thought you guys were a little higher than this, but Buffalo brings the 21st ranked offense to this contest, 11th rushing and 25th passing, and 7th in scoring. So keys to the game today, Jeremy. What is the main key to today's game? To me, I'm gonna just say this: Buffalo just not showing up and going through the motions. Show up serious, focus. They should walk away with a victory today.
100%. This needs to be one of those games. It can't be a letdown game. It's easy to look at this and be like, backup quarterback. It's the Titans. I mean, honestly, the thing that's crazy, and I didn't realize this till you said this, Titans number one defense. Would you have guessed that at this point in the season? Because I definitely would. No way. Yeah, Buffalo just needs to actually play this game, not go through the motions. As long as they do that and it doesn't come as a letdown game, they'll be fine. This shouldn't be a game that scares them. It shouldn't be a game that's going to be a lot of challenge. I'm hoping they get away with this and they get to bench everybody, by third, fourth quarter. But it's like anything, like you said, number one defense. Who can say? And honestly, more than anything, Josh Allen just needs to continue to play smart ball. He's not turning over the ball. He has 0 interceptions on the season still. He just needs to manage the game like he's been doing this season. He'll be fine. I don't need him, and I'm fine with him not throwing for 300 yards a game. As long as he's not turning the ball over and we're winning the game, that's what you want. So he just needs to keep doing that, and we'll be good.
And Rose, so speaking of that Titans defense, they're 4th in the NFL in red zone efficiency. They have just allowed 4 touchdowns on 10 trips inside their 20. So the defense has not been a problem for the Tennessee Titans. It's been on the other side of the ball. Offense right now just not carrying their weight. So Jeremy and myself and this one, we're going to take the Buffalo Bills in this contest. Next up, the Battle of Ohio, Cincinnati. The Bengals taking on the Cleveland Browns.
Is this really a battle, Dolph? Is this really a battle? Are we really serious about that? Is there anywhere this is a battle right now?
Yeah, you stay in Ohio. It means something. It means something. Cincinnati heads to the Dog Pound to take on the 1-5 Browns. I look for the Bengals to come out here 3-4. You just traded Amari Cooper. Deshaun Watson is hanging on by a thread. Everyone's calling for him to be benched. They want the backup. People are actually screaming for Jameis Winston. So, in this contest, Deshaun Watson, by the way, on the season, has 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's thrown for 1,020 yards, and he's 122 out of 199. This game here, man, I mean, what do you start with this game? Like,
there's nothing to start with. This is a race to the bottom for the Browns. That's all it is at this point. Because here's the problem with the Browns right now. One, season's over. Let's just call it what it is. They're done. It's over. Right. They're clearly in rebuild mode. They just announced they're moving. They're going to move from the stadium to Brook Park, which actually, the company I work for, we have one of the offices in Brook Park. So they're going to relocate the stadium from where it is on the waterfront. And they're in a contract with Deshaun Watson that literally is going to kill this franchise, which everyone knew when this happened. And everyone's like, this is the problem. Either you're all or you're nothing. And nobody wants the contract because it's all the guaranteed money. And he's playing like garbage. So I think right now you need to do one of two things. You need to either race to the bottom, and you're going to have to draft a rookie quarterback. And at least you've got a guy on a couple of years for the cheap because you got to eat this contract with Watson. Or you just throw in your backup at this point, or go get somebody cheap like Jameis Winston, see what you got. You got nothing to lose because this team isn't going anywhere with Watson right now. And if Cincinnati doesn't win this game, it's going to be disappointing. I mean, the one thing I want to see with Cincinnati is where Zach Moss and Chase Zach Moss and Chase Brown end up, because that has been changing as the season goes on. It's been split, and Chase Brown has now started to outpace Moss as the number one back with the carry. So I'm curious to see if that still continues, or if it's still going to be like a committee running back situation, because Moss has not been productive at all with rushing. So that for me is the bigger thing, other than the fact that the Browns, I'm sorry, Browns fans, it's over.
Right. And since we're on the Browns, let's start at quarterback. The most important position in all the sports, the most important position in the NFL. When I sit here and I look at Deshaun Watson, now his play has not been good by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, the Cleveland offense this season, Jeremy, they are yet to score 20 points or produce a 300-yard game.
Which is crazy. Because they don't, on paper, they're not that bad. If you look at the roster.
Yes. You got one of the best young tight ends in the league. You got
100%.
You got Judy now. You had Amari Cooper.
You got Nick Chubb coming back.
You got Chubb coming back. So what has been the problem? And Coach Stefanski, for some reason, he feels that Watson gives them the best opportunity to win. But again, Watson hasn't thrown for 200 yards yet this season. And he's been sacked a league high 31 times. And the Browns are 30th in the lead in scoring. They're averaging only 15.8, and they're last in yards. This team averages only 240 yards a game. So this team has more problems than just Deshaun Watson. Maybe it's the system. Maybe it's players just underachieving, not performing up to their capabilities.
Or maybe it's just because it's the Browns, and unfortunately, this is just the way it is for the Browns. I mean, it's season after season. Every year, I look at them and think, man, they got a good roster. This could be it. And every year, they come in and manage to disappoint me somehow. And look, I'm not a Browns fan, obviously, but at the same point, it's one of those teams they're not that far from Buffalo. Like I can appreciate what they go through and the struggle and the misses they've had over the seasons, but they continue to shoot themselves in the foot with these massive contracts on these guys, thinking that they're the savior. And I don't know what point they start to realize like you can't just guarantee all this money to these guys and then just hope for the best. That's going to change things.
Right. And speaking of, let's go to another end, Cincinnati. Now, this might be just what the doctor ordered for the Browns. I didn't know this. Joe Burrow is 0-3 on the road against the Browns. And the Bengals haven't beaten the Browns since 2017.
Really?
That's a surprising stat to me. I had no idea.
I'm shocked by that.
They have not beat their in-state rival since 2017. In fact,
unreal.
Joe Burrow was quoted as saying, "We haven't had success against this division opponent, so that's always frustrating and something we're striving for. We need to get this one." So, and this guy, believe it or not, I'm going with the upset. I think because I think Cincinnati's defense is not that good.
No, it's not.
That's one of the major problems with the Bengals is their defense. This could be the get right game for the Cleveland Browns. I'm taking Cleveland.
Dolph, I hate that you're making me question myself here now.
I'm taking Cleveland.
God. Wow, that stat 2017. That's a hard one to overlook. I mean, that is just the psyche of that is rough. But I gotta go Cincinnati. I gotta go stick with my heart. I gotta trust my gut. I can't see it for the Browns. I just can't. So I guess I'm gonna lone wolf it since it's you and I. So ow!
All right, we got the first lone wolf. Jeremy's gone with the Bengals. I'm going with the Browns, and I guess you can call it an upset. I guess I'm just saying. I guess
somebody's probably got to win this game.
Somebody's probably got to win this game. But
that would be our luck, Dolph. They're gonna tie. It's gonna be a typical Browns game.
If they tie, my God, if they tie in this game. Now, one of the better matchups at noon in the 1 o'clock window. You got the Houston Texans going to Lambeau, baby, taking on Green Bay. Two of the young quarterbacks and two of the newer faces of the NFL, young quarterbacks who look to take this league into the future. You got C.J. Stroud and you got Jordan Love. 5-1 Texans and 4-2 Packers. 12 o'clock CBS. What should we start? Let's start with the two quarterbacks. Let's get their numbers. Jordan Love on the season, 86 of 146, 1,131 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. C.J. Stroud has completed 142 of 208 passes for 1,577 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Mixon leads the way on the ground for the Texans with 286 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Josh Jacobs, former Russian league NFL rushing title leader, leads the way for the Packers with 464 yards and 1 touchdown. Nico Collins, 32 catches, 567 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Jaden Reed, 27 for 442 yards and 3 touchdowns, leads the way for the Green Bay Packers. Now, when we preview this game, these two teams, last meeting was in 2020. It was the Packers beating the Texans 25-20. Last week, the Texans defeated the Patriots 41-21, and the Packers won at home over the Cardinals 34-13 in a game that I thought was going to be a lot closer. In fact, that was my upset special, and I was wrong. The Packers went out there, they handled their business last week. Now, in this contest, you have the number 6 overall offense in this game against the number 18 overall defense for the Packers. The Texans offense is 14 in rushing yards and 5th in passing and 14 in scoring in the National Football League. Now, their counterparts, the Green Bay Packers, bring in the number 4 offense in the National Football League, number 2 in the league in rushing, number 10 in passing, and they're tied for 8 in scoring. So, Jeremy, as you sit back and get ready for this game, one of the keys to me, Jeremy, is going to be how can that Packers offensive front deal with AFC Defensive Player of the Week, honorary mention, honors winner, and last year's Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Will Anderson, because him and the Danielle Hunter, the addition of Danielle Hunter is now starting to pay dividends for the Texans. And of course, you got Stingley at the cornerback position, one of the better corners in his National Football League. Through his first 12 games, he has hold on. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. In his first 21 games, excuse me, family, Will Anderson Jr. has 12 and a half sacks, which ranks second in the history of the Houston Texans, only behind the great J.J. Watt, who had 13 in 2011. So, Jeremy, as you're watching this contest, what are you going to be looking for?
Well, first of all, I kind of say it's for me, this is the game of the day. Like, this is the game I wish that was on prime time tonight. One, so I could actually sit down and watch it. And two, because, man, could this turn into a shootout. Like, this game could go absolutely bananas. For me, I mean, Jordan Love's going to have to get rid of the ball quick, and they're going to have to establish the run with Jacobs. They got to make sure they can keep Love upright in this game, because if they start getting to him, it could get ugly fast. I think Love will be fine. I mean, I will say, when you look at his numbers, don't forget when you're going through those, he was out for 2 games when Malik Willis came in and filled in miraculous fashion and took them 2-0 during that time frame. I mean, actually really played 3 games, but that was literally about 50 seconds less of the last game. But I think this game is going to be Love getting the ball quick, and he's got the receivers to do it, and Josh Jacobs getting off and establishing that run early on in the game. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to do that. But this game is one of those games, man, I can see both teams putting up 30-plus points in this game, no problem, with ease, which should be really fun and exciting to watch.
Yeah, but with these defenses, though, I mean, the Texans, they're number 3 overall. I mean, the Packers are 18. They're 8 against the pass, but I mean 8 against the rush. But that Packers defense has struggled against the pass, but they have one of the top scoring defenses in the league. They're tied for 9th in the league. So I mean, it's going to come down to ball protection. I personally, Packers at home. Josh Jacobs is going to have to be big. They're going to have to establish that running game.
He's going to be that X factor. Because don't forget, no Nico Collins though again still. So not that really hurts Houston that much, honestly, when you look at them. But Josh Jacobs is going to be the difference maker in this game, because both quarterbacks are going to put up numbers. The receivers are all going to find a way to feast, but it's going to be the running game. And Joe Mixon has looked absolutely dynamite in Houston. I wasn't sure about that whole move when he left from Cincinnati. I didn't particularly love him in Cincy, but man, since he's moved to Houston, he's a new player too. Yeah. So it's going to be on the other side of the ball and looking at what Jacobs can do for the Packers and if he can keep them in this or not.
And Jordan Love has thrown 12 touchdown passes and 4 starts this season, and he has thrown for 4 scores in each of his past 2 home games. Now, he has thrown 6 interceptions also, but in his last 4 games, he has 2 at home. He's thrown 4 scores in each of his last 2 games at home. You got Reed. I just love the young receiving core for the Packers. And really, you don't have a diva. You don't have that one player who's eating up that salary cap. You got Watson, you got Reed, you got what's
Dobbs.
Dobbs. I mean, man, they're loaded.
They're excited.
Yeah,
they're an exciting team to watch, and you've got a quarterback that can ball out. I mean, that is You don't see that often, like you said. And you got three guys who are content in their roles and who
Yes.
don't make it a media frenzy with, well, I'm not getting fed the ball. Like, and I hate to bring this up in this game, but like a Diggs, I'm not getting my time, I'm not getting my targets, and I'm going to be all over the media. Sorry, Diggs, I love you, but I'm not missing you necessarily either.
Right. So speaking of the matchup with the Texas passing game against the Packers secondary last week, C.J. Stroud threw touchdown passes to Diggs, Tank Dell, and Joe Mixon. But that was against the Patriots, who, by the way, the Patriots defense ain't that bad. They just don't have no offense to help them out. Now, they'll be going up against Xavier McKinney, who had an interception and who has an interception in each of the Packers' first 5 games. So Packers at home, no Nico Collins, but hey, you got Stephon Diggs, you got Tank Dell, you got Joe Mixon back, who could be the opposite of what Jacobs is for the Texans on the road. And I can't let my biases yeah. I'm gonna go with the Packers. I'm gonna go with the Packers. I think the Packers hold them off today, and I'm gonna go 28-25 Packers today over the Texans. I'm gonna go 28-25. That's the type of game
I'm gonna go Packers as well. I got to. I want to pick Houston, but I can't. I just can't. Packers at home in the fall, like this time of year, it's like this is their glory. I feel like.
Right.
I'm gonna go 35-27 though on score. Packers. Ooh. I think this is gonna get high. I think this is gonna be the highest scoring game we're gonna see today. You got 2 really good quarterbacks with 2 great receiving cores. I mean, yeah, the defenses are both solid, but again, this is one of those. They start getting separation. This score can go up real fast with those teams.
I don't know. I mean, I just think that Texans defense, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think Green Bay is gonna have as consistent day against this Texans defense, because those 2 edge rushers, they're gonna put tremendous pressure on those tackles. And again, that's why I think the running game is going to be so pivotal today for Joy Love and the Packers. Because if they become one-dimensional, then you got Anderson, you got Hunter, and they're coming. They can just, pin their ears back and come. And young Stingley in the secondary. I'm saying all that, but still, I'm going with the Packers, and I'm going because
the Packers are home and fall. How can you go against them? It's one of those things. You know?
And I'm liking their receiver core, man. I just like the young quintet of receivers that they have. Any one of those young receivers can go off at any moment on any Sunday. And that's a real good luxury to have. Some may say, well, you need a go-to receiver. They got 3. They all 3 are go-to receivers. Yeah, so I'm going with the Packers, man. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with the Packers in this one. All right. So Jerry, myself. So Jerry, you going with the Packers also?
Going with Packers though.
All right. So no Lone Wolf in this one. We both going with the Packers in this one. Listen, family, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.
The Cover is Sports Network.
All right, family. Hey, welcome everybody to As the NFL Turns.